Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Brighton podcast, brought to you by the Global Sports Podcast Network. It's a Wildcard Wednesday, hosted by yourself, Joe Richardson, and I am joined by the General, Jamie G. How are you, sir?
Doing well after a terrible week, but there we go. A terrible weekend, but we move, and we're here to talk about some very funny stuff today, just to lighten the mood a little bit.
Yeah. So, as Jamie G alluded to, we are going to be doing a little bit of a Wildcard Wednesday. You know that this is a bit of a freestyle for us here at the Daily Brighton podcast. We like to switch it up. We like to do things different to everyone else, and just for our own sanity as well. So, we are going to do something that, to be honest, we haven't done since the start of this podcast. We are going to be looking through some social media comments. Brighton, our fans, we don't have a massive presence on social media. There's like a couple of cult sort of following fan bases, pages here and there, but in reality, there's not really. We don't have many like football Twitter accounts spouting nonsense all the time. The only people that we have are all very serious and don't seem to really like to have a laugh. And then in the second segment, we're going to be talking about a certain runner-up to African Player of the Year. And then in the last segment, we are going to be talking about this club in Croatia who have stolen our badge. So we are going to go through some stuff on Twitter. The first one is, to be honest, I forgot to actually put their @ in this one. I do have the @ for the others, but I forgot for this one. So he said that people are calling for De Zerbi, make me laugh. He held 4 at Luton. Thoughts, Gareth?
I mean, facts to be fair. I mean, you can't be calling. Yeah. I do not want that maniac back at the club. I think we've cut ties. He ruined the end of his time with us. It wasn't a very pleasant ending to the end of the relationship.
All, no.
And now he's at Marseille, and we know what we think about Marseille.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that one again, though. One thing I wanted to bring up about this is I have seen, obviously, what I'll say about our fan base is we are very reactionary. Obviously, on here, when we're coming up with stuff like monologues, Gareth. But like, obviously we're saying things and, you know, it's supposed to be emotional. It's supposed to be whatever. But also we have a very clear mind in terms of sort of what we know what happens in football. We understand that it's just not going to go well all the time. But I have actually seen a lot of people asking for Hertzler's head.
Yeah.
And also I did see one tweet maybe a couple of days ago saying, why did we get rid of De Zerbi when all he wanted was more money, but then we ended up spending 200 million with Hertzler? And I just wanted to ask you and pick your brains a little bit about how do you think that with that money, where does De Zerbi go? Do we see like a kick on and sort of into that sort of like next realm of like constantly challenging for Europe, or what do you think?
I mean, I would say De Zerbi was very good. Like he had his moments. We went through similar spells as kind of what Hertzler's kind of gone through. Let's not forget at the beginning of this year, the second half of last season, we were terrible. Like there was such a patchy form, and De Zerbi that's when it seemed to De Zerbi lost all interest, couldn't really care about the club, and that's where it was the beginning of the end. So let's not, the people on Twitter and the people online acting like it was such a blossoming relationship throughout, and how sad it was to see him go. I'm not lying. Towards the end, I was glad to see him go. I was thinking this guy deserves the chop because there was just poor performance, weak. And now I'm talking about actual performances, not only the results. There were poor performances where we didn't look clinical in front of goal, didn't really do anything, and we kept on conceding. Like, what was the stat last season? We had 3 clean sheets or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So
we struggled to score at the back end as well.
Yeah. Hertzler's already kept more clean sheets than that, I believe. I could be completely wrong, but
I think you're probably around in the right realm there.
It's close anyway, yeah. And that's with basically the same back line. So we've clearly got a lot better defensively, and the attack is just it's fallen off a little bit. But hopefully, Hertzler's the man to take it forward. I think people that are calling for Hertzler to be sacked. I saw a poll today, and I'm thinking, how are we doing polls? It's. I know yesterday on the Spotify playlist, I captioned the thing. No winning form is Fabian Hertzler to blame, and I think he is partly to blame for that no winning form. But it's still only 4 games,
Yeah.
and that's a thing to remember. It's not a
Mm.
crisis until it reaches 7 games. Then I'm thinking, now we might be in trouble a little bit.
Yeah. I get you 100%. Anyway, we're gonna go on to the next one. This is from @CliffDrew4. Shout out Cliff. I'm saying shout out Cliff like he sent it in. I've literally just found it on Twitter. So maybe not shout out Cliff. Also, what he said is absolute waffle. By the way. Few weeks into his first season, he's talking about Hertzler here, and I am paraphrasing. He needs to be given time. Not every single. So basically, every manager has a patchy run of form, and essentially, he said he's just happy to like sort of ride it out. He didn't expect a European push. This guy's a waffler. I'm sorry, Cliff. I'm sending Cliff shots here because one, a few weeks into the season, I don't know if time passes differently where you live. We are halfway through the season. Does the season start in August? It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. No,
We're in December.
We're only 16 weeks into the season. Maybe a few for Cliff means something a bit different.
I mean, I agree with like saying that he needs to be given time. Like, I get that, but also you can't tell time. So, how much time is time for Cliff?
Yeah.
How much time is time? Are we talking about 10 years? Because
but 10 years down the line for Cliff, he's only a few months into the season. Give him time.
So Cliff Drew, I'm sorry, mate, but you're an idiot. But yeah, we did say like right at the very start of this podcast, we said he needs to be given time. He needs to be tested and seen how he gets on during rough periods. It's his first rough period.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to be given time. We can't just sack him. We don't do that. It's stupid.
Yeah, I actually want to hear your take on it, Joe. What do you think? Because we were actually talking, me and Bless, on yesterday's podcast, talking about Fabian Hertzler and how we actually predicted this at the start of the season. Do you remember our first preview episode? We said we reckon we start off really strong, and then there'll be a running form.
Oh, we did say that, didn't we?
We said that, yeah, didn't we? We are geniuses.
So smart.
Honestly, we had that magic 8-ball out. The sphere, we were looking into the sphere, predicting the future like a psychic. But yeah, that's something I want to get your opinion on. Like, what do you think in terms of this run of form? Were you expecting it? And to actually answer Cliff, do you reckon he does need more time?
Yeah, he needs. I mean, what? So because it's gone exactly how we've said. I think on that podcast we all agreed that you can't. It doesn't do anything right to. It doesn't do anything to just sack him.
Mm-hmm.
One, who'd you get in? Because if you think about it, Lopetegui is he gone or is he about to go?
He's still there.
I mean, Hertzler could end up getting him sacked. So Lopetegui could go, right? O'Neill's just gone and Russell Martin's just gone. So there's 3 Premier League roles open. If you were to sack Hertzler, who do you go for? Because everyone's going to be sort of like rotating managers around. You don't really want to have Russell Martin. You don't want to have Gary O'Neill. You don't want Lopetegui. So, like, what do you really do? Also, you can't. How are you supposed to test the mettle of a manager, especially a young manager, if you're just going to go, you've had a bad run of form, let's just sack you? It's silly. Mm-hmm. It's so silly, in my opinion.
I think Tony Bloom is looking at this as well, thinking Fabian Hertzler, he's hired a young manager. He's probably fully expecting there are going to be these patches where you don't win games, and it's testing this manager, like you say, seeing what he's actually made of and seeing how he gets his team through it. But yeah, with a young manager, Tony Bloom probably looked at it as like a long-term project. This is going to be his club for potentially like he's going to carry on with these guys until he essentially rises to the top and bigger clubs come calling for him, rather than sacking him early.
100%. I think, going off what Cliff said, if we give him another few weeks, we'll be at the end of the season, so then we can actually tell what's sort of going on. I think that the only way that he gets sacked is if we literally just like go on a mad losing streak or we don't win for like 7-10 games. No, not 7. 7, I think, is like, because you have to think to yourself, managers get sacked if the results are against. That's the thing that Hurtsler has against him, is that the results have been poor against poor opposition. So like, I don't think normally you get like, oh, this manager has to win by this game, but that game's going to be like Southampton, and then you don't win at Southampton, or Southampton come to your ground and you don't win, then you get sacked. But now we've like, if you're going to go to that thing and be like, oh, we have to win our next game, chances are the next game's going to end up being against someone decent. So he doesn't really, it's going to be quite a peak situation for him. But yeah, he needs time. You can't just sack him. It's
100%.
Really. Right. Anyway, this segment is actually going to bleed through into the next segment because there is one more thing that we want to talk about. But you are first going to hear from our sponsors at the GSPN, and yeah, and then we're going to talk about Adingra as well. So we will see you after this break. This podcast is brought to you by the Global Sports Podcast Network, the only network bringing you exclusive daily news and views on your Premier League team, the Premier League as a whole, women's football and fantasy football. A unique listening experience that puts fans first, bringing you the very latest breaking news from your team. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and make us your first listen every day. Global Sports Podcast Network. Every club, every day. And we are back. Segment 2 of the Wildcard Wednesday with myself and the General Jamie G. We have one more tweet to talk about. This is from let's have a look. At in Mr. Journalist. I don't know what that even means, brother. I know you're not a journalist. That's confirmed. Because if you were, I don't think you'd be on Twitter. We've got Andy Naylor for that, mate. It's not you. But anyway, he said, this is actually quite peak because we've slated him a lot in the last couple of pods. Lewis Dunk has been unrecognisable. In fact, Brighton haven't won since he's been back. Is he good enough? Guerra, I think I know what you're going to say, mate.
No.
Is he good enough?
That's simple as that. No. At in Mr. Journalist. No is the answer to that. He needs to retire gracefully and hang up his boots. The poor bloke. I don't think he was actually wearing boots on Sunday. Concrete slabs on his feet, I reckon, is more accurate. But yeah, this guy. He's been a loyal servant to the club, and he's had a wonderful spell. He's got into the England team a couple times, had his caps. But yeah, now it's time, I think. Bow out gracefully. Please retire before moving to another club.
Are you saying that he just needs to retire like permanently, or are you saying that he needs to leave and go somewhere else maybe?
Well, he could probably hack it at the MLS or the J League or
the J League. Can't see Lewis. For some reason, I can't see Lewis Dunk in the J League.
Australia. Maybe he wants to retire in Australia.
No, not the Emil Heskey treatment. That's insane.
That's a good standard for him. Yeah,
not even the champ. The
championship he'll get. Oh, he would be fine in the championship. But the problem is, I want him to retire, like never playing for another club. Has he ever played for another club? I'm actually going to check this.
I doubt it, unless it was a loan at the start of his career.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Let's check.
Anyway, while you're checking, I'm gonna just put my 10 pence or whatever.
He had one loan spell at Bristol. Yeah, but yeah, I was gonna say that was in 2013-14. But yeah, just having never played. Let's discount Bristol. It was a loan. He never playing for another club. Retire where you started, the local lad. What a fairy tale. Then a movie can be made out of him.
We're not getting a Lewis Dunk movie, mate. Come on.
I'll start directing now.
Yeah, I don't know who's gonna play Lewis Dunk, mate. Who's
Good
gonna play Lewis Dunk?
question. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Mate, bless.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, even everything. He'll do it for money.
Yeah, but I think, to be honest, one thing I'll say about this podcast, and it's something that I love so much, when we say things on here, I feel like we're a little bit ahead of the curve in terms of what everyone else sees. We've been saying that he hasn't looked that great, apart from Bless. Bless has been sort of like
backed him.
Yeah, he's backed him hard, to be fair. But like, you could just see that he's just a bit off. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem something's not right. And he is a club legend, and he has been unbelievable at times in his career. But I think it's just like, to be honest, like I don't even hate the idea of like him just being around the squad. Like he could be around the squad and like he can play every now and again. Like that's fine. But I just think that it's like it's a lot to put on Van Heck, who also was awful against Palace. But like it's a lot to put on Van Heck and even like Estupinian, because obviously he's on the Estupinian's side. He's the fullback on his side. Like to sort of have it to like sort of baby him through games, which it sort of seems like at the moment. Like one-on-one, he just doesn't seem like he's there. He seems a bit of like a yard off the pace, a little bit like Robertson and a little bit like Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker maybe a bit more because Kyle Walker is honking up the gas.
True, yeah.
But it's like it is that sort of vibe.
It does just get to an age. I mean, how old's Kyle Walker as well? Like 34 as well?
Kyle Walker's like the same. They're like the same age.
Yeah, Andy Robertson, 30, 32?
Nah, Andy Robertson's like 32, older? 33.
Yeah, exactly. So it does genuinely, like, they say, don't they, in every sports, like, you just get to a point where you just go, oh, I just can't, I've just lost a yard of pace out of the blue. Yeah. Like, every athlete, when they come to the point of retirement, I watch a lot of NBA and they all say it as well, like they can't jump anymore or they can't jump as high as they
I'm not surprised, mate. Yeah.
But it's like you do just get to that age where it's like, oh right, I'm just way off the pace. These people are blitzing me. And Ismail Assar, he must have been watching Ismail Assar run past him and thinking, bloody hell, what a nippy guy.
Yeah.
And also like average pace.
Also, like if you're thinking about it, like he knows he's not going to catch him, but he still has to run back because how bad does it look if you don't run back after giving the ball away?
Yeah.
Like you said about the NBA, like I also enjoy my NBA as well. Lewis Dunk, you're not LeBron James, mate. There's basically no one that is LeBron James. Like there's literally Ronaldo.
LeBron.
And LeBron. And then, like, is Messi 1 year older or 1 year younger than Ronaldo?
1 year younger.
So he's 1 year younger, but Messi is going off of, like, complete just ability of the game, like, basically a mastery of the game as a whole. And even then, he still plays in the MLS. So, so maybe go and join Messi.
Join Messi.
Yeah, join
Messi.
Go.
Man. We've actually found a solution for Lewis Dunk.
We have found
He can join into Miami. David Beckham's the CEO, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
there you go. There's an English
Beckham
guy.
owns it. Yeah, he owns it. Yeah.
Perfect.
And then it could be Luis Suarez, Lionel Messi, Sergio Busquets, DeAndre Yedlin, and Lewis Dunk.
What a team! That team contend to the Champions League. All over 35.
Honestly. Anyway, I'm gonna actually bin off the other tweet because it's just about giving Gruder a chance to play because he played well at City, which is according to our friend Cliff Drew, was a few weeks ago. So
that was at Leo MCPH.
I'm saying that.
Right.
But we played City ages ago. It feels like a few weeks ago for Cliff. But we are going to talk about Adingra. Well, I only found out literally. When did you message me? Like an hour ago. He did come second in. Was it just the player of the year? Or was it young player?
It's player of the year, and he won young player of the year, African young player of the year.
Oh, really?
So he's made
cooking.
Up around,
he's
mate.
Cooking. Yeah, that is mad. The one thing that I will say though about this is, and I'm not trying to take anything away from him at all, but I mean, Ademola Lookman's won it. Adingra's come second. But in the Premier League, there is a player who plays for Liverpool called Mohamed Salah, who I don't mean to raise any alarm bells here, but I feel like the African Player of the Year award is based so highly on how well you do for your country.
Yeah,
Like, obviously, I get it; it is that sort of vibe, but like, I'm sure African Player of the Year. I don't know how much they take into consideration, like club level, because I think Ademola Lookman had a massively better season than Adingra did. But obviously, Ivory Coast won the African Cup of Nations, didn't they?
Yeah. So yeah, let's just actually look at Salah's stats compared to Adingra's.
I don't think we want to do that.
To be fair, you can see why Adingra finished above Salah, because Salah's only got 13 goals, 9 assists. Adingra has 1 goal, 2 assists. So you
It's
can kind of
decent.
you can see it now, can't you?
I get it. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I don't think Salah was nominated. I'm not going to lie.
I'm not like I didn't see him. Yeah, I didn't see him on the list. Maybe it was third. The list ended after Lookman and Adingra. That was it.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
But to be fair, he did have I watched a lot of that tournament. I don't really know why. I think it was just on at good times. That I was
Probably,
just
yeah.
awake for.
Yeah, can imagine so, yeah.
But yeah, Adingra was class in
Yeah,
that
he's very
tournament. He
good,
was
yeah.
like a difference maker. I've said it actually so many times on this podcast, and that's where I had the belief in Adingra coming into the season, was coming off the African Cup of Nations form where he did win where he actually won the competition. Big part in that. I think he then won AFCON Player of the Tournament as well. And then when he came back, replaced Matoma, was world class then as well. And I had so much optimism for him this season. And then in last episode, or the last Wildcard Wednesday that we did, Joe, I said we should loan him out ASAP. Just
Yeah, no, you did say that.
So it's like such a rocky one. Like, I'm saying we should loan someone out that has just come second in African Player of the Year awards. Like, that's shouldn't be happening.
I feel like that's a bit of a. I feel like that's more down to him than to you, though. To be honest, because like he needs to. We've bunched up so much on that right hand side. So if you think about it, like basically every player in every attacker in the club, bar Evan Ferguson and Danny Welbeck, could probably play out there.
Yeah.
So like you've spent quite a lot of money on Gruder. He hasn't been given like a run. He's like attacking wise, he's basically kept it the same, but he's rotated like Rutter and Minte. Basically. Like the 10 has basically stayed the same. It basically Rutter's been used in like every position on that, from the right to the cam to the 10 to the 9. But like Matoma's basically just a mainstay. He's probably, to be fair, him and Belabra, I'd say, are probably like, and Van Hecker, and obviously the keeper is like the spine, of like the team. And I don't know. He needs to prove it. I think he needs to prove why he got second in AFCON, why he, because now he's not in a position to demand a move to an Arsenal, for example,
big club,
or because he's not playing. So also, if I was Arteta, I wouldn't be looking at Martinelli and then looking at Adingra and going, that's a massive gulf in, like, that's going to make us so much better.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, especially in the return, because if that's what, because that, I'm only saying Arsenal because that's the team that I heard he was linked to, like last season, like in the summer. But I just think that Martinelli is going to get you basically that same return at his worst, whereas Adingra is going to be giving you that almost at like what we've seen as his best. So we're a little bit like, well, what's really the point? But I would like to see him kick on and get a bit of time in, because that right-hand side is a bit sus for me. That's why it's been getting rotated all the time, because I don't think there's been anyone who's just solidified the position.
Yeah,
so.
And even Adingra has played out on that right-hand side when Minter first started dropping off form, and he was woeful. Like, he started... I think he came on, did well, earned the start. Like, this is really early on in the season. And then played so badly when he did start that he's not started since.
I don't think he should play on the right because I remember now. I think he might have got the start because Minte was terrible against United.
Yeah.
But then Adingra come on for Matoma, and I think he played on the left for a bit, and then I think he set up João Pedro, and then he got the start, but it was on the right.
Yeah,
and I was to be fair, it just doesn't really suit current gen of players to be on their favoured side. They need to be on the opposite side because none of them want to run to the byline and cross anymore.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, but yeah, I think I'd like to see him kick on. Show me why you're second. Show me why you're better than Mohamed Salah. Be Mohamed Salah, and then we'll be all right. Right. Anyway, on the last segment, we are going to speak about some fraudulent business, some potential lawsuits. Maybe not from me, obviously, so don't pin this back to me. But yeah, we are going to be speaking about a certain Croatian club. But might slaughter the name, but we will see after this, after we hear from Zencastr. Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr. And we are back for the third and final segment. Let's talk about some fraud. There is a club in Croatia. I don't know what league they're in. Let me actually just check this quickly.
It's not the first one, put it that way.
It's definitely not the first league, 100%. What are they called? So the Croatian club in question is called NK Jardan Galib. Might not have said that right. Sounds like something out of a Dune film. They've stolen our badge, and when I say they've stolen our badge, they have genuinely just taken the badge and decided that they want to just change the writing on the outside. So yeah. Also, I have just gone onto the team now, and this is breaking news. It says on Transfermarkt that their squad size is 4. They have 4 players. So
They can't be legit.
No, this can't be legit. It's got to be a Sunday League team, innit? Or they just haven't. They missed the deadline for registering all their players. So they don't have any players. I don't know if anything's being. I think it's like at the stage where they want to sort of just like let them know that we have Premier League money, you don't. Don't make us file this law. Just change the badge, basically.
Yeah, I think what was it? Sport Bible reported that we're looking to take action or something like that.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. Surely.
Yeah, guys, if they've got 4 players, I don't think they have the facilities to take action back.
No, that's the reason they've got our badge is because they don't have anyone working on the thing. So it's just like they've gone, what team should we steal the badge from? What's going to be the least amount of work? And then they've just done that, I reckon.
They probably looked at the shop nearby and seen what kits are on offer and thought, there you go, Brian. Got a Brian kit. There you go. We'll take their badge while we're at it as well. But it's genuinely, if anyone is listening at home and just Google this team, NK Jordan Galib, and it is like the Audi version of Brighton. That's the only way to put it. You know how Audi do hula hoops are just called hoops, and Doritos are tortilla chips,
and Crave is milk chocolate pillows.
That's basically that's their workaround of this. I mean, if they probably looked at Audi and Lidl and thought, if they're getting away with it. With such obvious brands, surely we can get away with it on the football pitch, you know?
Yeah, they could have at least turned the seagull to face the other way.
Exactly, that's genuinely what I'm thinking. Like, just do some change.
Yeah, so it can't just be the exact same thing and then you've just changed the writing.
Or just put a stroke around one of the things, just a big stroke. I was about to say something. A big black stroke
All right.
around.
Okay, mate.
I knew you'd say pause or something like that. But yeah, that's what's needed.
Do you know what they could have done, actually? I don't know if anyone from NK Jardin Galib is... I'm saying it. I don't know. That's how you say it.
They might be our biggest fans.
They could be. But if anyone is listening to this, can you, just to save yourself the lawsuit, because you're not going to be able to sustain your club after the lawsuit, I imagine, just take the circle away, face the seagull the other way, and then just change the font of your club's name, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll actually be fine.
Yeah.
Surely you'll be okay. We don't want you to suffer because the amount of P's that you're gonna get done in for it's gonna ruin your economy.
I wonder if NK Jordan Galib have a podcast as well. Or should we
do a crossover?
Yeah.
Should we do a crossover with Jordan Galib, mate? It's probably going to be their 4 players. That's their whole team.
We'll do a crossover of and then we'll play them as a friendly game to see who gets the ownership of the badge. Play for the badge. Good idea here.
That is a good idea.
And I'm not gonna lie, judging on our current form, they'll actually beat us.
We've actually lost the badge.
We've got to change our badge because NK Jordan Galib beat us in a crossover match.
Oh my god! Imagine. But to be honest, I mean, if there's ever been a chance to have a feeder team,
this is it.
Maybe we should give them money, build them up, and then have that. Because do you remember we done I think it was a crossover, talking about getting in another club. I don't think this is what they had in mind, but this is what they should have in mind.
Exactly. The work is the infrastructure is there.
Yeah, it's actually done. This is just it's a tap in. It just needs to be done. Anyway, guys, can you let us know? Can everyone that listens to this podcast, can you please at NK Jordan Galib and send them our way, and we're willing to help them overcome this. Also, leave what you think about the Twitter, the tweets that we spoke about, and also what you think about Adingra as well. Let us know. We are always willing to hear from you. We love hearing from you. Thank you for the ongoing support as well. Make sure that you follow us on all social media, and which will be in the show description as always, and we will catch you on the next one on Thursday. Thank you very much for listening. We love you all. Farewell.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.